Hello, today we're going to talk about something called menopause and perimenopause, a subject that is so um, interesting and at the same time so confusing for a lot of women because in the past decades, we've not paid much attention to what our menopausal symptoms are. We've just been asked to get on with it. So it was just never part of our health management. In the recent years, there's more research and there's more awareness of what perimenopause is, what menopause is, and what are the changes women's body go through. So I'm going to do it in a few parts because otherwise it turns out to be a very long, boring video. And personally, I myself never watch long videos on YouTube. So we are going to talk about menopause and the symptoms, and we're going to focus a little bit extra on weight gain during menopause. In the second part, I will talk about healthy lifestyle and my own personal journey. In number 3, we will talk about medication management of menopausal symptoms. And in number 4, we would focus on something called intermittent fasting. And in number 5, I would talk about the medication based specifically used for weight loss, such as GLP-1, and what are the benefits of this medication. It is a medication that, for instance, I posted about it and my friend immediately goes, oh, but it is also that, weight loss benefit. No, that's not the only thing. It is a side benefit. There are other things good about GLP-1. So we'll talk a bit more about it. Now, menopause and perimenopause. Menopause is defined as if 12 months you've not had any periods, you are officially in menopause. Perimenopausal period is the period before your menopause, and often the time when your menopause is in and around the time your mom, grandmom, aunt had menopause is often a roundabout figure. We can call it the time you may get menopause. Of course, there is other factors such as early failure of ovaries that can cause premature menopause. So all of these things not including. We think about perimenopausal period plus or minus 9 years before you actually have a menopause, and that is a long time. Plus, menopause in itself can be a long period after your periods have stopped. Common symptoms that women complain about in menopause is they notice a fogginess of thinking, because estrogen is one of the important hormones you need for cognition. A lot of mood symptoms, depression, anxiety. Often I hear women saying that the things I could cope easily and manage, they cause a lot of stress now, and I feel like I can't cope with it. So there's a lot of mood symptoms. Sleep is one of the major things that gets impacted during perimenopausal period. Women do wake up sometimes at night from around 3 o'clock and are unable to go back to sleep. When sleep or your circadian rhythm is dysregulated, often you find weight gain as a side effect of that, which impacts your menopausal, perimenopausal weight gain as well. So weight gain being another side effect independently without the sleep factor as well. You gain on an average from the age of 40 about 2.5 kilos a year. That is a lot of weight gain, but it happens mostly around the central aspect of our body. I've seen a lot of women who have been fit all their life and then notice the softness around their belly that comes around the age of 40, and this is perimenopausal weight gain. So the other symptoms that you commonly see is irregular bleeding, and if that happens, like extended bleeding, irregular bleeding, then you do need to address it with the doctor as a priority, because other things like other hormone imbalance such as thyroid function tests that need to be assessed if there's anything else going on. So specifically talking about menopausal weight gain, so we have less hormones in our body, and specifically estrogen is an important hormone that we need to sort of manage our metabolism, and as our estrogen drops, our body goes into this fat storage protective mechanism around our abdomen. Our levels of cortisol goes up as well, along with the other symptoms such as lack of sleep, increase in cortisol. So what women do is when they start gaining weight, they then start exercising more, which means more cortisol is produced, which then counteracts the benefits you may gain. So it is a very vicious cycle as well. So if you have been active, it's a little bit more easy to manage. If you have been inactive a lot of times, it's very, very hard to go back and change the changes, because postmenopausal weight gain is very difficult to lose. Being proactive in preventing the weight gain around menopause is a better way to do it. So weight gain around the mid aspect of your tummy, what does that do? It's mostly around your viscera, which is the surrounding your internal organs, that this weight gain happens. And it's not a very good thing, because it increases your risk of diabetes, it increases your risk of insulin resistance, which then further makes you feel sluggish and increases your risk of cardiovascular conditions such as heart attack, stroke, kidney conditions. So it is a lot of risks that comes with this visceral weight gain that we have. And you may have noticed men have what's called a beer belly, or the central belly popping out much earlier than us, and we do it pretty quickly, like even in a few months when we are near that menopausal period, that I would call it as, that we start gaining weight around the central aspect of our mid waist. And then we see the symptoms you look for is your clothes become tighter and softening of that area. So a lot of muscle weight loss happens as well. You lose a lot of muscles around your menopause. So if you are not doing such as things like resistance training, or you've not been athletic, then it's a much quicker process. You lose a lot of muscle and you gain a lot of fat. And there's some thought that we gain it around our hip to protect our hip. I don't know how much of that is an honest truth, but a hormone imbalance is the major factor that contributes to the weight gain around our waist. Also, things like thyroid function test and things needs to be checked as well. Diabetes needs to be checked regularly around that age, because especially ethnicities such as Indian ethnicity, my ethnicity, where I have my grandparents and my uncles and my aunts who are diabetics, I need to be extra cautious. And that was one of my first triggers to get going, start taking care of my health, sacrificing things that just gives pleasure to my tongue rather than making me feel good. We often eat excessively for that reward feeling, for that dopamine surge we get from our amygdala, or it's a part of our brain. If we learn to control that and improve different aspects of our brain, a lot of things can be done naturally as well. So eating foods that are healthy. So you need your fruits, you need your vegetables, because when estrogen drops, you also lose collagen from your skin, and especially you will notice wrinkles more around your face. So there's a natural way of maintaining estrogen, but often you do need hormone replacement therapy as well as we go into our middle age or perimenopausal period, depending on what our symptoms are. We don't prescribe estrogen just to make sure your skin is taut. We do it if you have other menopausal symptoms. So that is a whole assessment you need to do, and getting the right person to do that is important as well. And women often complain to me, when I go to a male doctor, I'm just brushed off as saying I'm just being overreacting, but that's not true. Menopause is a serious symptomatic troublesome period in women's life, and we need to look at that more in depth as well. I hope you found this video helpful. I'll continue in my next part.